Eliezer and his family, along with many other Jews, are forced into cramped cattle cars to be taken to concentration camps. They suffer from dehydration and starvation for multiple days. They stop periodically and are forced to give up their possessions and are treated as animals. This is one of the first times dehumanization takes place in Night. A new character is introduced. Her name is Mrs. S. She has become mentally ill from her family being killed. She is only left with one son. She has lost her mind and experiences hallucinations which result in panic within the cattle cars. After many hallucinations, the other passengers become frustrated with her outbursts and screams of fire and beat her. When they finally arrive in their destination in Auschwitz, they realize that the fire she was seeing was real and death soon awaits them.
Section 3 Comprehension Questions. Number 1. To what did Wiesel compare the world? He compared it to a hermetically sealed cattle car. Number 2. What did Madame S. see in her vision? She thought that she saw fire. Number 3. How did the other people in the cattle car react to Madame S.? At first the people reacted with panic, but then after a while it became old to them and they reacted with annoyance. Number 4. Where did the train stop? They arrived in Birkenau. Number 5. What did the Jews in the train car discover when they looked out the window? They saw a chimney. Number 6. When did Wiesel say the travelers left their illusions behind? They left their illusions behind in the wagon. Number 7. Which notorious SS officer did they meet in Auschwitz? They met Dr. M. Number 8. What was Ellie's main thought as the men and women were being herded from the train? His only thought was that he would not be separated from his father. Number 9. What prayer were the people saying? Why was it important? They were saying Kaddish. This was important because this prayer was only said to the dead, and they were all saying Kaddish for themselves.
Mrs. S.'s mind has become disturbed from her family being taken away to concentration camps. She has hallucinations of seeing fire, and people in the car show cruelty to her and beat her. This is one of the first times you see inhumanity towards somebody. Dr. Imze was an SS officer. He was very cruel yet very smart. He used his evil mind to corrupt Jews and form life-threatening experiments on their bodies.
Fire! I see a fire! I see a fire! This quote is describing the image a woman on the train was seeing as they were approaching Auschwitz. The smoke and flames from the crematorium were rising, and the woman could see the smoke, even though nobody else could. Someone began to recite Kaddish, the prayer for the dead. I don't know whether, during the history of the Jewish people, men have ever before recited Kaddish for themselves. This quote is truly showing how little hope some Jews had for themselves. Ironically, some people were optimistic in getting through the problems they were currently facing, but others, like those reciting Kaddish for themselves, obviously were not optimistic. Never shall I forget those moments that murdered my God in my soul and turned my dreams to ashes. Never shall I forget those things, even where I condemned to live as long as God himself. Never. This quote basically describes Ellie's outlook of the whole Holocaust after he went through it. It took away, if not all, most of his hope and faith towards God because of all the terrible experiences he went through.